Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of the In the Ring Show with your host, Devious Damien. And this is my review for tonight's TNA Impact dated March 22nd, 2012. So we opened the show with the whole thing of what happened at Victory Road between Sting and Bobby Roode, how Roode won the match, and then how he proceeded to assault Sting after the match. Started going after Dixie Carter a little bit. So then we get Dixie coming out. She's about to fire Roode. Talk about how he's being a disgrace to the fans, to the company, so on and so forth. Like I said, about to fire him. Out comes Sting. Says to Dixie, no, don't fire him. He's getting off too easy. That's not the right kind of revenge. So then he says, well, I need to step down as GM because I can't be GM and a wrestler, so I'm stepping down as GM to be a wrestler, so I can, be the kind of man that it takes to face Bobby Roode, the way, face him at Bobby Roode's level. He suggests that Hulk Hogan be the new GM. So after that, we get a Bully Ray segment saying how he's super pissed and he's going to be taking people out tonight on Impact. So then it's announced that we're getting a four-way match for the X Division title. We get Zema Ion, Anthony Nese, Kid Cash, and the greatest man who ever lived, Austin Aries. The match is a no contest as Bully Ray interferes and proceeds to take out all the competitors in the match. And just says, "Do you know who I am? I'm Bully Ray." And we're like, okay, your point? But anyway. So then we get, as was announced on Victory Road, that Josh Lewis was going to be the special guest on tonight's Impact. And he was playing a little thing of repo games with Mexican America because he was there to repo Mexican America's car. And they were getting trivia questions wrong, so they said, well, we're going to win the tag titles tonight. When we win them, we'll come pay you. Josh says, okay, go win them, then come see me. So then we get a Knockouts tag title match, which with Rosita and Sarita facing the Knockout Tag Team Champions ODB and Eric Young. And Eric Young is acting like a doofus again, and they need to stop making Eric Young look like an idiot because he actually is quite the accomplished wrestler, despite what some people seem to think. Rosita and Sarita appear to be trying to seduce Eric at one point in the match. ODB gets kind of jealous, kisses Eric Young, and basically gets him to pin, I think it was Rosita, and they get the win. So we get a Crimson segment talking about how Matt Morgan was the loser of their team, that he's the reason they lost, that Morgan was the reason they lost the tag titles, saying that he took out the trash because that's all Morgan was trash. Morgan attacks him, and then it was announced by Crimson that we're going to get Morgan and Crimson next week on Impact. So next we get a Jeff Hardy segment, talks about how Kurt Angle was talking trash about him all the way up until Victory Road, and then he beat him by cheating. He challenges Kurt Angle to a match at Lockdown, and as he's doing that, here comes Abyss, or should I say Joseph Parks, but we all know it's just Abyss looking for himself, trying to act like he's somebody else, but I really don't think he's fooling anybody. But whatever. So we get James Storm and Robert Roode talking about their history in TNA, how they've been there with the company since pretty much the start, and their journey up until their careers at this point. So next we get a James Storm promo in the ring, talking about how people don't know the difference between right and wrong. Then he says, Bobby Roode, you're looking at the next TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Says he's going to right all of Roode's wrongs. Challenges Roode to a fight right there tonight in the Impact Zone. Suddenly, out comes, I forgot the stupid fucking doofy's name there, but Bobby Roode's legal advisor, and Storm basically lays him out with a super kick. Oh, but before that happened though, he told him that Roode presented him with a choice of fighting either Kazarian or Daniels. Storm says, hell, I'll fight both. And then, as I stated, he super kicks Rude's legal advisor. So the next segment we get is Kurt Angle acting like Jeff Hardy has no right asking for a rematch at Lockdown, saying that he beat Jeff Hardy and Jeff Hardy must be insane to want a rematch. So then they're talking about how Garrett Bischoff won last week's match, the 5-minute challenge. Kurt sees Garrett, gets upset. He's like, "Are you telling people you beat me last week?" He's like, "Well, I technically lasted 5 minutes and blah, blah, blah." So Kurt says, "Okay, let's see if you can last 3 minutes." So predictably, then we get Kurt Angle versus Garrett Bischoff. Can we go 1 week without seeing Garrett Bischoff? Like, seriously, like, who even really cares about Garrett Bischoff when he's not out there with Hulk Hogan? Like, that's just what I wonder. Anyway, Garrett wins by DQ because Gunner interferes. He proceeded to beat him down 2-on-1 until Jeff Hardy comes in to make the save. So then we get, for the TNA Tag Team Championships, Joe and Magnus versus the challengers Mexican America. And Joe and Magnus win. Out comes Josh Lewis during the match, takes Rosita and Sarita away, and Joe and Magnus win with their Snapmare Flying Elbow finishing maneuver. So then, after that, you get Hogan coming into the building. He denies any knowledge of being the GM, and he just said that Sting was there because, Hogan said that he was only there because Sting called him. Excuse me. So then we get Josh Lewis taking Mexican America's car, and he actually takes their women, and he's like, and Josh Lewis is saying, "Look at these guys, they ain't got money, they ain't got a car," so on and so forth. Josh walks away with Rosita and Sarita, and as they're walking away, there's like, "No money, no honeys," and they leave with Josh Lewis. A rather entertaining segment. So, as far as the wrestling is concerned, the main event was Kazarian and Daniels versus James Storm. James Storm wins with after hitting the last call super kick on both Daniels and Kazarian. And that was pretty much it for that. So we get a Sting and Dixie Carter promo. Sting's like, "Trust Hulk Hogan." And so out comes Hogan, appearing to want to be taking the position of the GM, but doesn't really get a chance to say anything before TNA just, kind of cuts off the air. So, my impression of tonight's Lockdown, or not Lockdown, excuse me, Impact. I'm thinking ahead to TNA Lockdown, excuse me. I gotta talk about, they talk about Lockdown so much in this freaking episode of Impact that I kind of had Lockdown on the brain. Sorry about that, folks. So, my impression of tonight's Impact episode, I'll give it a C-, I guess. And it was an okay show. Could have done without the Kurt Angle and Garrett Bischoff match, but I guess, it did what it needed to do. I thought the Joe and Magnus and Mexican America match was pretty cool. The whole premise behind it. You knew Mexican America was going to lose, but the way they did it was kind of entertaining, so I enjoyed that. Kazarian and Daniels versus James Storm, pretty decent match, I thought. No surprise James Storm wins here. I mean, the X Division match until Bully Ray ruined it was actually quite good. I was enjoying it. And fuck Bully Ray for ruining the damn match. Because, God forbid the X Division gets a chance to shine without Bully Ray's massive fucking ego having to get involved. Fuck Bully Ray. Piece of shit. Swear to God. He's the stupidest, one of the stupidest fucking wrestlers in TNA. Like, he's just dumb. Like, just comes out, "I'm Bully Ray." Whatever. So, yeah, I'll give it a C-. They put good things in place for Lockdown. They're building nicely. Since I still have a little bit of time in this video, I'm going to add a little bit to this video. I'm going to add a little thing called how I would book TNA from lockdown till up until June. So, right now I'd make my main focus Crimson. I would have Crimson beat Matt Morgan at lockdown. And I'd also have James Storm beat Robert Roode for the World Heavyweight Championship at lockdown. Then you have Crimson. You have Crimson come out on Impact, the Impact following lockdown, and he says something to the effect of, "I've been undefeated for X amount of time, however long it's going to be after lockdown, and I've yet to receive a World Heavyweight title match. So I'm challenging James Storm." And James Storm accepts the challenge. They build it till the next pay-per-view. And then they have their match. Then you get, a ref gets knocked out somehow during the match. Out comes Matt Morgan, carbon footprint, last call super kick for good measure. Crimson gets pinned to end the undefeated streak. And then you get Morgan saying to Crimson, "I told you I was going to get you." And then you could sort of renew the Morgan and Crimson feud right off that point. I would actually give Zema Ion one more chance one-on-one against Austin Aries at a May pay-per-view if Sorensen's ready to come back. And the only reason I say that is because then, actually I would make Zema Ion the champ. I would have him beat Austin Aries for the title, just only to carry it till May, lose it back to Aries because of Jesse Sorensen. Jesse Sorensen would come out, get his revenge on Zema Ion, cost him the X Division title, and then they could have some kind of match where Jesse Sorensen kind of shows a new brutal side to him, really paying Zema Ion back for what he did to him. I would really establish the TV title as a true mid-card belt. Like, stop putting it on these fucking putzes like Robbie E. and everybody else who had it. It was just stupid. I mean, I'm sorry, Robbie E. was a pitiful champion. I'm glad Devon has it. Maybe, Devon can bring some credibility back to that title. I'm hoping so. I'd like to see, maybe throw Matt Morgan in the TV title mix. Throw, if Samoa Joe loses it, throw Samoa Joe into the mix. Throw Magnus into the mix. Maybe let them have a little bit of singles glory. Even throw Jeff Hardy into the mix if you want, maybe, throw him into that mix. Now, I know some of you are going to say, but he's a main event guy. You can't put him in for a mid-card title. Let Jeff Hardy have a little break from the main event just for a little bit. Let him have a mid-card title, then, come back up to the main event.
Not like they're doing anything with him right now anyway.
Yeah, they're just putting him in this useless feud with Kurt Angle. So, I mean, actually...
It's just the side part of it.
Yeah, so really, if you ask me, put the TV title on Jeff Hardy. I'm not saying take it off of Devon right away, but you could kind of throw Jeff Hardy into that mid-card title picture. I'm actually glad that RVD didn't come back and beat Robbie E for the TV title, because don't even get me started there. So, that's how I would book TNA for the next few months. No, I know I didn't cover all the talent, but I covered all the talent that I really care about watching. The rest of them, whatever. Let me know what you think. What you think of tonight's Impact. What you think of how I would book TNA. What would you do? How would you book TNA? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Would you do it differently? If so, let me know your thoughts, your opinions. And as you're watching this video, I know most people say this at the beginning, but I'm going to say it now so it's fresh on your minds before the video ends. Subscribe, like the video, and comment down below. This edition of the In the Ring Show. This has been Devious Damien signing out. Good night, everybody.